What's the secret to transforming the potential of your church staff into kingdom impact that really helps you grow a healthy church? Well, I remember one year with one of the pastors on our team, and the church that I had, and we had a multiple staff team. And one of the pastors got to the end of the year and he really wasn't performing well. He had great potential and he'd done well in previous years, but the last 12 months, well, they were a train wreck, to be honest. He was in neutral, he was cruising along. He really wasn't working that hard to make things go well in his departments of the church. He was having a very low impact. And we had a 90-minute transformational meeting. And that's what I call staff performance reviews. They're 90-minute transformational meetings that really transform the potential of church staff into great kingdom impact to build and to grow a healthy church. Now, today, I want to give you 3 benefits of conducting staff performance reviews. And I'm going to give you 2 tips. At the very end, I'm going to give you 2 tips on how to do this really well in a way that adds momentum and life, not only into your staff, but into your church. So what are the benefits of conducting staff performance reviews? The 90-minute transformational meeting. Well, I think you get improved ministry effectiveness. Your staff get aligned with the goals of the church, and you can also identify areas for development in their world, personal development, skills development, and overall it impacts and enhances their ministry impact. Secondly, there's increased staff engagement and satisfaction. Through the year, you have meetings with your staff, you can give them regular feedback and recognition. But at the end of the year, when you do this 90-minute staff review meeting, you can work through and really pat them on the back, really thank them for the areas that they've grown in, the areas they've done well in, maybe the areas have even struggled, but they've really persevered in, that you can give them feedback and recognition that gives them a fresh sense of momentum. And I think also you can clarify your expectations going into the next 12 months. You can foster that culture. You want a culture of growth and support. We're here to support you and strengthen you, and we want to see you grow in your skills and your attitudes in all areas of church ministry. And the third benefit, well, it's a better stewardship of church resources. Hey, let's face it. I mean, I pastored for 30 years. You don't have an awful lot of money. You're not a multinational corporation. You don't have an awful lot of money to throw around to have staff here and staff there. Most churches are just kind of running on that, well, we can do this with this many people with this amount of money. And I think when you have a staff performance review, you're actually becoming far more efficient in the use of the church's resources and also of the staff's time and their particular gifts and talent. You can also, I think, identify and address performance issues earlier. If you let it roll on for a few years where you don't really address an issue, it becomes a major point of conflict. You're better off being involved with that along the process. And I think it really does help you make better decisions about the staffing needs of the church. Well, let me give you a couple of tips of how to conduct performance reviews well. And I want to show you a resource in the hub that can really help you do a staff performance review in an excellent manner. Now, the hub, free to join, 14 days, no obligation. You can jump in for 14 days, grab what you need, and jump out again. I find most people don't do that. Jump in 14 days for free, take it for a test run, then $27 US a month after that. We put resources regularly into the hub. We update resources that are in there. I mean, the hub's been going so many years now, has helped hundreds of church leaders already. I think you can get some benefit. Let me show you a resource that's in the hub that can really help you with staff performance reviews. Here we are, we're in the hub and we're in the particular area of I want to develop leaders. And when you scroll down, you see some quick wins, masterclasses, roadmaps, interviews, and some resources. And this one is the one I want to focus on here, the staff performance review resource. When you jump into this is a comprehensive staff review document that we used in our church to do annual reviews. And you can adapt this and adjust that. As a hub member, there's a Word document you can download and you can adapt that to your heart's content. Or there's a PDF that you can jump straight into. And again, you can download and utilize. The Word document gives you the chance to adapt it. So here's the whole document here, the name, the ministry person, etc. and the results. And basically, with this, we would have our staff, our pastoral staff, set goals around personal development, ministry areas, discipleship areas, and evangelism. So, three areas: personal development, discipleship, and evangelism. And we would get the staff member to rate them around their particular goals that obviously they'd set a year before. You got to set measurable goals if you're actually going to measure them. So they'd set the goals, they'd write down the goals, they'd rate themselves 1 to 5. Yep, really 1, brilliant, done well, or 5, really not a good year. And then the supervisor, the person overseeing their upline manager, would then also do a rating and talk through these comments. And there's areas there of discipleship, there's areas there of evangelism, because we wanted our church staff, our full-time staff especially, but our pastoral staff really focused on those three areas: personal development, discipleship, and evangelism. We want to focus on those areas. And we talked about various skills: leadership skills, ministry skills, general pastoring, counseling skills, communication and relationships, all these different areas, time management. I mean, this is comprehensive. This is a 90-minute transformation where they sit down and rate themselves, review themselves. Supervisor does the same. They get together and meet and talk through. And some of it's really encouraging. Others it become points of development. And that's done, and there's a few discussion points at the end and so on. And that can be just a marvelous help for you, I think, when you're looking to do performance reviews, because I think once you get into the area of performance reviews, you really do need to have some sort of tool that helps you get into a good place with it. Okay, let's jump back into, there we go, we got rid of the hub. There's a link in the description below to the hub. Check out that link. Make sure you avail yourself of those resources. Okay, let's jump into the 2 tips of how to conduct performance reviews well. Well, number 1 tip is prepare thoroughly. You must be well prepared when you go into a staff performance review. You need to already have some established measurable goals. And if you don't have that, well, I don't know if there's much point in doing a review other than around attitudinal stuff and skills. And you could start with that point, absolutely, and then set goals for the year ahead, and then you can do that area of measuring goals. I think it's good to gather feedback from the person, make sure they fill out all the form as well. You might want to have a chat to other staff members about their thoughts about another staff member, good or bad or ugly or whatever. You may or may not want to do that. You may just want to keep your own eyes open to see how they're going. The second tip I want to give you is always make a staff performance review in an atmosphere of support and help and adding strength and building momentum in their life. You don't want a judgmental, critical, condemning atmosphere with a staff performance review. Church ministry is hard enough without sitting down for a conversation where you're going to get, bam, you did this wrong. Bam, you did that badly. Why don't you do better? Even in that conversation with that pastor who hadn't had a good year, I reaffirmed him so many times that I loved him. I really wanted the best for him. I wanted him to do well. And I did say to him, look, another year like this, and we're going to have to review your position, your situation here. But it wasn't, you're fired, get out of here. I wasn't that sort of a leader. I'm not that sort of a leader. I wanted to give him time because he was a magnificent young leader who was developing and just had a tough year. But you want to have a comfortable, private setting. You want to bring some positive affirmation, heaps of thank yous, because they're going to be nervous. Everyone gets nervous when you hold them to account. And you want to make sure that the focus is on growth and development, not just evaluation. So there you go. There's my couple of tips, a few benefits of this, but a couple of tips is get very well prepared for this meeting and really take a deep breath and bring an encouraging, supportive, loving atmosphere. Even if you're going to have a difficult conversation, make sure it's a supportive atmosphere as you create a 90-minute transformational moment.